So today I'm going to talk about kefir. This is all my kefir, and I want to talk about what kefir is and why specifically it's so amazing for the Indian household. Because if you see, usually in Europe or North America, yogurt is considered like a sweet dessert sort of a thing. They always add sugar to it. I know we do that in India too, but in India, like I think we also consider it like we can also consume it in a savory manner, like a chas, or in many, like as a dish, like add it with rice and put tadka. You make curd rice or tair sadam, and you have it like that. You make Kadi out of it. My husband is Telugu. He loves Majjiga Pulusu. I'm Tamil. I love like Mor Kozhambu. So we have so many dishes that we make out of yogurt. So that's why my discovery of kefir was amazing for me. So you may think, what is the difference between kefir and yogurt? Well, kefir is like yogurt, but just much better. It's amazing because so there are many differences. Let me start with some of the basics. Kefir and yogurt are like similar, but kefir basically is an amalgamation of 46 to 56 different kinds of bacteria that come together, and they come together to make kefir. But a standard yogurt that you get in the supermarket has two main bacteria strands. Don't get me wrong, like the yogurt that you get in supermarkets are also probiotic and they're also very good, but they only have two strands. I think they're like lactobacillus bulgaris, and the second one is streptococcus something, I don't know. But so these are the two FDA approved strains that are available in the supermarket yogurt. And then of course I think the curd or the dahi that we make at home, I'm guessing has 6 to 7 good bacteria. Like it has more because it's homemade. It may have more good bacteria, because I remember, for example, my grandmother used to take yogurt with her hand. She used to specify that she takes it with her hand and put it the next time to make yogurt. Probably which means that there is some good bacteria in her hands that also sort of become a part of the yogurt culture. So yeah, more good culture, more amazing, right? And that's what kefir is. Because if you notice with the deal with kefir is that it actually is made out of something called kefir grains. And what are these grains? They're actually not grains, not like plant grains, but these are some things that were formed like the origins of kefir grains goes back to many thousands of years ago. And it's said that it was first sort of discovered in the Caucasus Mountains, and all the people who consumed kefir, they initially did it to preserve milk, but then they discovered that the benefits of kefir is so much better than milk. And all the people who lived in Caucasus Mountains were sentinels, and they attribute their wellness to kefir, to consuming kefir. And kefir is also mentioned in Quran and in Bible, and it's considered as a gift from God to humankind. So it's supposed to be that amazing, and I think it is. So how these grains? I was trying to, when I first started reading and doing some research about how to make my own kefir. I discovered that you cannot really produce the grains. You just have to. It was just made because probably at many years ago there was right temperature, right environment, and I've also heard that it was formed in a sheep's belly because some enzymes came together, and that's how those grains were formed. So yeah, that's the origin. And what are these grains, you may ask? It's not exactly grains. So they are like, once your kefir is formed, they sort of come on the top like this. They are like these clumps, like jelly like cottage cheese, or like squishy modules of things. This is a live culture, and this is what is all the bacteria. So I keep them alive, and I give them food. These are almost like my babies, so I keep them alive, and yeah, these are live. So this is the kefir grain, and this is what you would need to make kefir. So how do you get these? Well, the only way you get this is from someone who makes kefir, so you don't actually get it like otherwise. Maybe, I don't know, like usually you can get it off Amazon for sure, or if you know someone who makes it. That's how I got it. I knew someone who makes it, so I got a spoonful of these grains, and then once you start put some milk in those grains, they multiply like crazy. So you'll have a lot of grains. In fact, there'll be like plenty of supply for you to give it to other people once you start making it. So usually, like, some people throw it away because they don't know what to do with so many of this, and it doesn't taste amazing because it's very sour, very tart, tangy, and it's hard to consume it, I guess. But I actually don't mind it. Sometimes I chew it off or just like swallow it because of its benefits. So the other difference between yogurt and kefir is that yogurt is a left-turning bacteria, which means that, of course, it's probiotic and it's good. When you consume it, those two strains of bacteria only live in your tummy for about, like, in your gut for 24 hours. And let's say you have other stronger bacteria, they probably like take over. And if you have if you're having antibiotics, then they'll definitely not survive. The yogurt wouldn't survive that. But on the other hand, the kefir bacteria, all those 56 strains, are so strong that they will be the ones that dominate your gut bacteria. So even if you have pathogens or bad bacteria, kefir will go inside and it will be the dominating bacteria, and it will like constantly live, and that's why it is a right turning bacteria. Right turning, like left, it has right turning bacteria, and whereas yogurt has left turning bacteria. So yeah, I mean, when you have kefir, it's supposed to, I mean, it really solves all your gut problems, and gut problems basically is the engine. It solves all the other problems in your body. You don't have acid reflux, your skin is great. Like the other day, I actually put it on my scalp because my scalp was itchy, and after I washed it, it was just perfect. There was no itchiness. And if you have like fungal problems, basically it will sort all of your problems. So yeah, kefir is just so good. Like, it's the best probiotic, and it's just amazing for your health. And that is one of the main reasons why I decided to shift from yogurt to kefir, because it's just solves so many problems. I mean, also even if you have like allergies or food restrictions, like due to some like intolerances, kefir will solve it. So that being said, like I mean, so how you make it is, this is how your kefir looks. So you take these grains, and then your idea is to basically like separate these grains from your once it's formed. So this is 2 days old. I have one here that was 4 day old. I already like strained it out. And when the yogurt, when the kefir is formed, is when the sort of the whey separates from your from the white part. Like, there is separate whey, and I can see it. Not sure if you can see it. And usually you take like a normal colander, and please do not use I mean, try not to use like metal or plastic if I'm using it. Actually, I don't use that because it's so it takes too long to filter it out. So all I care about is taking out the grains, separating the grains from the kefir. So I actually use this pasta strainer, I guess. So what you do is you just see, this is the whey separating, and then I just pour it. So here is all my kefir grains that I've separated. And I take them. I do not waste them at all. I just take them. In fact, the smaller ones that are newly formed, like for example, see, this is a small one. This is what is more potent and powerful. So I definitely make sure that I save them. I put it back here, put it back in my glass jar, and definitely make sure that it's a glass jar. It doesn't do well with metal or plastic. Generally, just don't use it for anything, I guess. So yeah, see, I separated all my grains from my kefir. this is my kefir, and I'm sure maybe some grains have fallen inside, but I really don't mind it if it comes in my food. Like when I'm making something, I just eat it. It's because it's so good. Why would I waste it? And I don't mind it. So the reason some people mind kefir and they cannot take it is because kefir is, as I said, it's yogurt version 3, I guess. I mean, because it's like yogurt on overdrive. It's on like yogurt on steroids. Because if you know that, if you've had yogurt, you know that yogurt has a specific smell, like a specific taste. Just take that and multiply it by like 5 or 6 times, and that's what is kefir. You'll have very strong yogurt smell, which I really love. Yeah, I'm a tambrahms, and I've been called, like, as you know, I mean, we are obsessed with yogurt. We are made fun of. Everyone calls us curd rice, tair sadam. You know what? I accept it, proud of it, no regrets. So that being said, yeah, so I really don't mind that smell. And also kefir is very, very tart. It's very tangy and it's very sour. Like it's like a very khatta dahi. Like if you don't like khatta dahi, then you probably will have some problems with it. But I do not, because the way I would use this is, as I said, to make Kadi or Majjiga Pulusu or like some savory dish, or add water to it, put some salt, put some tadka, or like just put some cumin powder and make chas out of it. So yummy. So this is my kefir. Let me taste this, and also make sure your like hands are generally clean, not very dirty. It's pretty sour, but as I said, I really like it. I'll probably make something with it tomorrow. One of my favorite dishes. And then now, once I've strained it out, I have my kefir grains here. I wanted to show you guys how I make more kefir. So it's so simple. You just take some milk. This is milk right out of my fridge. I usually get organic milk, but this is 3.25% homogenized milk. So it's not heated. I didn't do anything. I didn't boil it or anything. I just put it in my clean, like the same, I just use the same glass jar, and I'm going to close it. And that's it. My kefir is done. So this will, now it's summer, so it will probably just take 24 hours for this to become kefir. So by the way, I live in Canada. It's usually very cold. Which means that making yogurt is so painful, right? Like when you have to make yogurt, you have to boil the milk and then wait it for it to cool down. Take some yogurt, put it at the right temperature, and I usually make my yogurt inside the instant pot so that the temperature is maintained. But honestly, it's such a strenuous process. It's hard to do that, right? But with kefir, you don't have to really bother about that, because once you pour the milk, it will just become kefir depending on the temperature, of course. I mean, it's just fermentation, right? If it's warmer, it's ferment sooner. If it is colder, then it will probably take more time. So right now in summer it'll take 24 hours. If in like a winter, probably it'll take 36 hours. But you'll know when it's done, basically. And it's a pretty like very low maintenance. I feel like I saw a lot of videos on YouTube where people are really coddling their grains, but I think they're pretty rugged. You don't have to really be that worried about whether they'll survive. They're pretty like robust, and you just have to feed it with milk and make sure that it has something to, the sugar in the milk is what its food, so you make sure it always has some milk, because this is milk kefir. And then that's it. Your kefir is ready, and your yummy kefir is right here, which I will be making, which I'll be using to make something nice.